Hello and welcome. And now let's look at the 25th verse called the Chicken Story from the book Footprints on Waters Free. Now, this work illuminates that there is no story, and it's called the Chicken Story. Anyway, so it just shows how story is a very dualistic, the dual dream. Now, I'll just read out a few extracts from here. Now, once sailed a clever fox beyond known lands and docks. At last he came across a land, unexplored and unmanned. Soon he found an ethnic tribe of chickens who were circumscribed in ways of thinking and living life, being uncouth, survived in strife. But they cooked scrumptious meals with sauces that did appeal, and one such potent fare, which was beyond compare, was Peary by name, which tasted best with game. Now it goes on, and then it says, "Cut, cut," cried the director. Dreary as such spectres, we've been fed the same stew, one pattern, faces new, where there are rivals too, of good, bad, right, wrong view. States of us versus them, sponsor the star, the crook condemn. Or where the world is saved from threat by a hero, initially inept, to bring about a perfect state, where exist the good and great, or made of wishful dreams, are shows with such themes. So now the director instructs to get a very good story which can sell. And then, of course, the junior director, assistant, he writes a very beautiful note on about the dual dream. And I'll just read about the few extracts of that. He says, go find a story. The director says, go find a story with a view of love untied to the roles of trade, kin, sex, or soul. And then, of course, the note that is written is, sir, there are no stories, but life without source's glory. And nothing can compare to life, its present fare. The most significant of stories, with all its inbuilt glories, is incomparable to the piece without a fable. Besides, investing in a tale demands a dual scale. While unbroken is life's song, and to none does it belong. No tale but love does thrive as this immediacy alive, with no future, present, or past, but occurrence in the embrace vast. Rather appears love absolute alone, as each act and pursuit, an appearance of presence alive, a miracle where no tale can thrive. Yet this freedom is so vast and complete that embraces stories and feats, appears as the individual who owns the credentials of being in time and space, with or without grace. Presents perspectives diverse on the appearing verse, and deems them as narratives of personal initiatives, and where accounts appear in an individual sphere alone, while this life that appears rife with form has no split or separate spirits, but appears as every hue with no one to it view. So to say, I don't have a story, another act illusory, for there is none in view, tales to own, rebuff, or pursue. Yet the funniest stories spun are to disparage the ones who are lost in the narratives of their life comparative. Sir, you won't find an account without individual count, or love untied to the roles of trait, kin, sex, or soul. But the director, of course, keeps seeking. But can miracles of life, I'll just read out a couple of lines. The director, but can miracles of life be seen in dreamt pinnacles? So this was, and of course there's a last which you could read it from the book. So these are, because I just read one last one, of course, this is really nice. But please don't inform the director nor the movie spectator that there's no story in view to relish for me and you, nor a causality, time, or mortality, simply energetic appearance, evolutionary turbulence. And please don't ruin the fun by saying there's no one. Of course, it gets on a humorous tone. For love fantasizes the fables, awards judgmental labels. Thank you so much. Bye for now.